Welcome to the reading of the Times Reporter newspaper for Monday, September the 14th. My name is Pam, and we begin today's reading with the area deaths. Bridget Nicole Keim, 29, of Beach City, passed away unexpectedly on Thursday, September 10th. Services have already been held. Edna A. Miller, 77, of 8286 State Route 241, Fredericksburg in Mount Hope, passed away at her residence on Friday, September 11th, following a lengthy illness. Services have also already been held. Diane Margaret Renzi of Copley, Ohio, passed away on September 5th at the age of 60. She was born on January 22nd, 1960, in Dover. Private graveside services will be held at a later date at St. Joseph Calvary Cemetery in Dover. John J. Bailey, also known as Jack, age 81, of New Philadelphia, died peacefully September 10th at the Truman Hospice House following an illness. Services are over. Timothy S. Cooper, age 50, of Bolivar, Ohio, died suddenly Wednesday morning, September 9th, in his residence. Services have also already been held. John Clayton Hunker Jr., 75, of New Philadelphia, passed away on Thursday, September the 10th, at the Community Hospice Truman House in New Philadelphia, following an extended illness. In honoring John's wishes, cremation has been entrusted with the Toll & Herzig Funeral Home and Crematory in Dover. Loretta Louise Parrish Grove of Strasburg, Ohio, went home to be with her Lord and Savior on Saturday, September 12th, at her home. Family and friends are invited to call at the Toll & Herzig Funeral Home at Dover on Tuesday, September 15th, from 4 until 7 p.m. A funeral service will take place on Wednesday, September 16th at 11 a.m. in the funeral home. Friends can call 1 hour prior to the service on Wednesday. Well, friends, that concludes the area deaths in the Monday Times Reporter. We'll begin with our first article. Back in business, Warren Township Community Center resumes serving weekly lunches by John Baker. In New Cumberland, after a hiatus of 6 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Warren Township Community Center reopens to the public Monday with its weekly community lunch. I think the volunteers are excited to get back to serving, and I think a lot of the people are ready to venture out, said Portia King, the center's director. There are still some who are afraid, and we still have some volunteers who are nervous. There are going to be people who don't want to come out and eat right away, and it's okay. There is no arm twisting on either of those, but some of the volunteers are eager and ready, so we'll just jump right in. The lunches, which are donated only, are held every month, Monday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The lunches, which are by donation only, are held every Monday from 11 to 1 p.m. In the past, guests were served cafeteria style, but that is being changed to meet state guidelines. Guests will now be seated at tables, and they will be served their food by volunteers. No more than 2 people can sit at a table. Tables will be disinfected after guests leave. Half of the tables have been moved out of the cafeteria and into the gymnasium, where there is more room to spread people out. A third room will handle the overflow. Monday's menu will be simple: cream chicken sandwiches, macaroni salad, chips, dessert, and a drink. It's going to feel very different from what we've done in the past, but we're eager to start again, King said. On average, the community center serves meals each week to about 115 people from Warren Township, as well as New Philadelphia, Dover, Delroy, Carrollton, Canton, and Navarre. It has been providing meals for 12 years. King said the center is designed to provide a place for residents to socialize. That's really what we're here to do, is bring people together and encourage socializing. So now we're supposed to do the opposite of that, she said. We haven't seen some of these people for 6 months, so your first inclination is you're going to want to go up and give them a hug, and we're not going to be able to do that, so it's going to be hard. A lot of the people have been with us for most of the 12 years. They're like our extended family. Other programs at the center, such as activities for children, will eventually be resumed based on guidance from the state. The community center has been sustained through the years by grants from community foundations. Recently, the Reeves Foundation gave the center an $85,000 grant to replace the roof on the building, a former elementary school. The Reeves Foundation has recently kept us in business because the Reeves Foundation last year gave us grant money for new furnaces for the main part of the building, King said. They gave us a grant for air conditioning in this part of the building, and then the Rosenberry Foundation gave us a grant to get new flooring in the kitchen and the cafeteria. God's just been very gracious, granted us favor, and we have some wonderful foundations that have been critical to our survival. In addition to the Heyman Foundation, which gave the center $2,700 for the new commercial freezer, money has also come in from the Emergency Food and Shelter Program and the CARES Act. That has taken pressure off of worrying about whether we're going to be able to support the program and then initially getting set up, King said. She stressed that the Warren Township Community Center is run entirely by volunteers. We have wonderful volunteers, King said. I couldn't say enough. It's all volunteer run. There's no paid staff. And so we've done that for 13 years. That's pretty phenomenal. Our next article, Uhrichsville extends deadline for small business grants. Uhrichsville local grant opportunities for small businesses in Uhrichsville remain available. City Council's Economic Development Committee recently extended the deadline for the COVID-19 Business Relief Program, according to Councilman Eric Harmon. The deadline for small businesses to apply for up to $2,500 from the City of Uhrichsville has been extended to September 21st. Applications may be obtained and submitted at the Uhrichsville Mayor's Office and the Uhrichsville Auditor's Office at the Uhrichsville Municipal Building. The COVID-19 Business Relief Program is targeted at small businesses with 50 or fewer employees. The Economic Development Committee will consider applications on a first-come, first-served basis. Other considerations may include need for assistance and the likelihood that grant funds will allow businesses to retain jobs in Uhrichsville. Applicants will be subject to a financial review and must have experienced a decrease in gross revenue because of COVID-19. Businesses can receive a maximum award of $2,500, which can be used for payroll, rent, or mortgage payments, utility expenses, insurance payments, and facility upgrades to comply with Responsible Restart Ohio social distancing requirements. The Economic Development Committee anticipates that grant awards will be announced shortly after the September 21st deadline. Up next, Bolivar notes drug issue. In the Bolivar Village Council September 8th meeting, a key action was agreed to place 3 silhouettes depicting awareness of drug abuse at the three-way stop at Route 212, Park Street, and Fort Lawrence Road. Discussion: Jody Salvo of the Tuscarawas County Anti-Drug Coalition and Substance Abuse Prevention said the 3 silhouettes are a black silhouette for those that died, a gray one with a yellow ribbon for those who survived, and a yellow one which means hope. She said the Hope Project will be held October 1st through October 21st to make the county aware of drug abuse, which saw a huge increase in overdose deaths. About 10 communities will be asked to participate, and the efforts are only as strong as the community. The village agreed to not issue a permit to place the silhouettes at the intersection. In other action, adopted an ordinance to allow golf carts to be operated in the village effective September 8th. The carts are not restricted where they can cross over Route 212. The golf carts are not permitted on Route 212, only side streets must have a licensed driver, street legal, license plates, turn signals, brakes, and must be police inspected. Cost for police inspection is a one-time fee of $25. Next, lauded Rachel Tolley, crossing guard, for doing a good job. Next, agreed to remove the crosswalk signs on Canal Street and adjust a parking sign for snow removal. Heard a $3 million additional 5-year levy for fire protection will be on the November 3rd ballot. Agreed to allow a resident to place a box filled with books on her property. Those wishing a book can take a book and replace it with another one. Approved the purchase of 4 exit signs at a cost of $471 and install 6 children at play signs at a cost of $297. Wood Electric will install conduit for the exit signs. Approved overtime pay for the police at $2,602 from March 1st to December 31st due to the pandemic. Gave approval to replace the shingles on the Santa Claus house. Heard the police department had applied for a grant to purchase bulletproof vests. Learned Liquivision that was to clean the reservoir did not show up. The job will be postponed until the spring of 2021. Approved the Ohio Ethics Training webinar on September 10th at a cost of $125. This fee covers the cost of all officials and employees. Passed an ordinance as an emergency amending appropriations for the water meter project for $1,047,708. Passed an ordinance amending appropriations for the Coronavirus Relief Fund for $29,492. Agreed to purchase items from the COVID Relief Fund for capital items, computers for the mayor and assistant fiscal officer for remote work at a cost of $3,400. Met with Alex McCartney of FEMA to discuss items such as emergency alert device, tornado siren, AEDs, and backup generator capacity for the village buildings. Recommended the Water Committee discuss seeking prices for safety equipment for water line breaks. Set a special council meeting at 6:30 p.m. on September 21st for the purpose of discussing and comparing computer system quotes, usage of COVID relief funds, and the risk management study platform to be determined. Heard the village's international dump truck needs repair at a cost not to exceed $5,000. For your information, Drug Take-Back Day will be held from 4 to 7 p.m. September 12th at the Bolivar Giant Eagle. Oh, that's already passed. The Bolivar Fire Department will host an open house from 5 to 8 p.m. October 5th at the fire station during Fire Prevention Week. Social distancing will be observed and masks will be available for those that do not have one at the open house. Residents are reminded to fill out the 2020 census. Bolivar has filled out about 80%. The website is 2020census.gov. A current count of the census determines funding for the county. The police responded to 70 calls in August. Political signs must be placed on private property and should only be erected 30 days prior to the election and removed 3 days after the election. If they are placed in the curb strip, they will be removed by the village employees. Hydrant flushing and leaf pickup will be announced in October. The Little Trojan football teams are using the soccer fields and are hoping to use the field in the future. Trick-or-treat events will be discussed at the October 5th meeting, or if the event will be held. Up next, they meet at 7 p.m. October 5th via a video conferencing. The Village Planning Commission will meet at 5:30 p.m. October 1st via video conferencing. Let's move on. In the news, Village Leaf Cleanup schedule is set by Ray Booth, Newcomers Town. Fall is just around the corner, and that means that the falling leaves will be on every corner, street, and yard in Newcomers Town and in my city too. The Newcomers Town Street Department is asking for cooperation from village residents as village employees gear up for local leaf removal. We will use the same schedule as last year's cleanup, village officials said. Leaves are to be raked into the street and on the assigned day. Rake them about 1 foot from the curb, which allows the water to flow to the drains. Crews will start at 7 a.m. It is important that you rake your leaves into the street the night before your scheduled day. Crews will only make 1 pass each day. Don't place brush and trash in the piles of leaves. If these items are found, the leaves will not be picked up. Do not park cars in front of the piles of leaves to leave room for the leaf machine to pick them up. The schedule for leaf pickup will be Mondays, Section 1, from River Street West to the Corporation limit, south of the railroad tracks. Tuesday, Section 2, from River Street East to the Corporation limit, south of the railroad tracks. Wednesday, Section 3, from Bridge Street East to Pilling Street, north of the railroad tracks, and this includes Scott Addition. Thursdays, Section 4, from Bridge Street West to the Corporation limit, north of the railroad tracks. For more information, you can call 740-498-8655 and leave a message. The call will be returned as soon as possible. Welcome signs. The Newcomerstown Parent-Teacher Organization is offering Trojan porch welcome signs for the area residents. The PTO is teaming up with the Barron Design Company to offer the signs. Porch signs are 7 inches by 4 feet and feature a Trojan logo. Signs are $25 and can be purchased directly through the PTO. Holiday gifts. Veterans in Tuscarawas County are being offered a holiday turkey, ham, or other meat through December 4th. Veterans may sign up through September 30th at the Veterans Service Office on Old Route 21, south of New Philadelphia. Veterans must be a resident of Tuscarawas County. Coupons may be picked up between November 9th and December 4th at the Veterans Service Office. For more information or directions, please call 330-339-1163. Library cards. The Newcomerstown Public Library is noting that September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month and is encouraging any resident who does not have a library card to stop in and sign up for the free service. In addition to books, the library offers movies, CDs, games, and much more. For more information, call 740-498-8228. Up next, Donations Fund Park and Downtown Improvements in Dover. A pair of donations to the city are the driving force behind a couple of improvement projects there. City Service Director Dave Douglas says they're just about finished with the playground resurfacing project at the city park, which is expected to wrap up around Labor Day. He says the Reeves Foundation donated $30,700 to the project, with the city covering the remaining $35,000. Meanwhile, Douglas says the Marlite Company volunteered to scan the murals downtown and create waterproof versions that can stand the test of time. He says Marlite has taken down the old murals and are working on them now. They plan to give the originals back to the artist. Our next article, Carmel Hodderer stepping down after 22 years at the Rainbow Connection, by Hank Keithley. After 22 years of running the show, 22 years of special projects, 22 years of bringing smiles to those in Tuscarawas County, Carmel Hodderer has announced her retirement plans as the executive director of the Rainbow Connection. Her final day will be December 31st. "I think you know when it's time to step aside," she said in an interview with the Times reporter. "There's a time to let someone younger, with new ideas, come in and take over, and that time has come for me." Originally organized in 1950 under the name Tuscarawas Society for Crippled Children and Adults, the Rainbow Connection provides assistance to those needing help with medical bills or expenses and provides equipment and support for schools and children throughout the county. Over the last few years, the Rainbow Connection has funded the construction of a Challenger League baseball field on Pleasant Valley Road and a handicap-accessible fishing pier on the pond at Tuscarawas Park. Children with handicaps are always first and foremost with the Rainbow Connection, Hodderer said. Through the years, the organization has provided handicap playground equipment for children with mobility issues at schools and city parks. They've provided equipment for sensory rooms in schools. They've purchased iPads and electronics, as well as day-to-day equipment such as walkers, standers, and special chairs. This past summer, the Rainbow Connection completed a $150,000 project helping all the schools in Tuscarawas County with COVID relief, buying cleaning supplies and sanitation stations for the buildings. Of all the projects we've done, we've gotten more thank you notes about this on Facebook, in emails or texts than any other project we've ever done, Hodder smiles. Is that amazing? That's how needed this was, and we were happy to be able to meet that need. Now the schools are all opening, and let's hope they stay open. My personal opinion is that children belong in school. If our little input helps that happen, then we're all happy. As a nonprofit organization, the Rainbow Connection relies on volunteers and donations to keep their projects funded. Their one and only fundraiser is an annual telethon held each spring. The event is carried live on local cable and raises funds through a combination of high-dollar auction items, call-in pledges, and kids going door to door with a coffee can collecting change. Our telethons have remained successful, thankfully, Hodder explains. That's our working capital and how we've been able to help so many people in the community. We do better every year, and I'm going to tell you the secret of the telethon. When you do really good work and have transparency on the money that's spent and how it's spent and how the programs work, people want to help. That's one thing Blair Hilliard told me years ago, is that if you do good work, people want to be a part of it. The telethon is a day-long event and has indeed grown every year. When we broke $100,000, who would have ever thought? She recalled. You think you're at the top, and then when we hit $150,000, you think if we just hold steady, we're good. And then you break $200,000, and then you see your total coming up on $300,000. She credited Tuscarora Central Catholic High School, which provides part of the school, to host the event, and Charlie Jones with his big-time sports production crew for helping the event remain successful and fun. And then there's Carmel's Army. When the Rainbow Connection hosts an event, Carmel's Army shows up in support. A virtual horde of volunteers turn out to make the event run smoothly. I have a 22-year-old nightmare with the telethon, that I get there and nobody shows up, she explained. But when I get there, there are already volunteers flowing in, and they bring coffee and snacks. They step in and take care of things. They're all a part of the machine. Our workers are doctors, lawyers, business owners. They don't have to be here. They don't come to promote their businesses or practices. They're here to make us successful. The Rainbow Connection has partnered with the Times Reporter in hosting its annual All-Star football game. The same volunteers show up to sell tickets and raffle items and sling hot dogs in a hot, sweaty concession stand. They come to help, she explained. They don't want to be on camera. They don't want glory. They just want the results. They're there to make it work. Hodder is the sole full-time employee at the Rainbow Connection. I don't have a company car or a credit card, and I can't even buy you lunch, she grinned. But she is backed by a board of directors who she credits with the continuing success of the organization. Our board members are parents and grandparents, she said. They're very active in the community, and they realize how important this program was going to be. So I'm really happy as the director to be able to do it. The Rainbow Connection is very transparent. We're a board-driven organization, and our board is very fiscally responsible. I've seen children grow up and then come and be a volunteer on the day of the telethon. That's amazing, and that's what I'm proud of. It's been 22 years, and that's a good run for a nonprofit, so it's been a real blessing for me. And now it's time to retire. And what's next? Nothing, she said without hesitation. I have nothing planned, maybe a volunteer job. I'm going to get my house clean and get caught up on some things I've let go. I hope to always be a part of the Rainbow Connection in a very small way, but for 2021, I don't think I'm planning much. You should know that the Muni Court is closing on Friday. In New Philadelphia, the municipal court will be closed to the public September 18th due to the installation of a new computer hardware. The court will not be available by internet or phone. Its case management system and website will be unavailable. Well, my dear listeners, this concludes the readings for the Times Reporter. for Monday, September 14th. My name is Pam, and September 13th was my birthday, so I'm celebrating all week. But for you, I'm going to say please stay safe until we meet here again. You be blessed and do what you can to make today a great day.